Okay, so what if rounding the way I've shown you doesn't make sense to you, where you think of terms in terms of tens or hundreds and you make a number line? So if this doesn't make sense to you, where you think in terms of tens and decide which 10 it's closest to, so what I mean is 67 falls between 60 and 70. I can visualize that on a number line. And I know 65 falls right in the middle between 60 and 70. So I know 67's over here, and I can very easily see that the closest 10 67 is to, the closest 10 is 70 to 60, way over there. But if that way isn't working for you, after talking with some other teachers, they encouraged me to teach you a different way. And then later on, the number line way might make sense to you. So if the number lines way isn't making sense to you, work through these rounding problems I'm going to give you over by our rounding coaster poster. So navigate yourself to the room where you can see our rolling coaster our rounding coaster poster. So remember, for that, you find the number. So in this case, we'll be rounding to the nearest tens. You find the number, which means you find the place value you're working with. Look right next door, 5 or higher, you add one more to the place value you're working with. So it is 5 or higher, so I'm going to add one more to that 6, and then 4 or less, let it rest, and we already know it's 5 or higher. And from the arrow, change to 0. So we're going to add that 1 to the 6, change the 7 to 0. So 67 would round to 70. So again, I like to think of it in terms of, I know 67 is closer to 70 than 60, but not everybody's like me. That might not make sense for everyone. Another one. Still thinking in terms of tens, let's do 53. So we find the number, because we're still rounding to the tens place value, so I'm going to underline the 10 spot. Look right next door, 5 or higher? Nope, it's not. So we're not going to add one more. 3 or less? Let it rest. So that 5 gets to rest and come on down. And then from the arrow, change to 0. So 53 would round to term in tens to 50. So again, remember, rounding, the reason that we round in the first place is that we don't care about being exact. If I say I have 53 jelly beans at my house, and I don't always want to be exact, so I will round and say I have about 50 jelly beans at home. Okay, go ahead and work through I know this one's tricky because you can still work in terms of tens. You're just going to add that 1 back on at the end. So when you do this one, just focus on the 27. What would you round 27 to? And put the 1 back on in the end. And today, for the mathematicians check-in, I would like you to check in with Bree, Olivia, and let's also throw in Danny. They will be our mathematician check-in people for this challenge. So go ahead, round these, use the rounding coaster if you need to, or do it the number line way. Okay, and if Bria, Olivia, and Danny give you a thumbs up, you can give yourself a +1. Good luck.